Well, hello there. It's reading time, so I invite you to get cozy with your book. And as you're reading today, look for some powerful action verbs that really bring your scenes to life. I'll see you in 10 minutes. All right, at home, I'm reading Walk Two Moons with my daughter. And on page 195, when I just finished reading, we have the word rolling, folded, swinging, tottered. Powerful verbs that bring the scene to life. So take a minute and just share with your 6 foot side buddy, your crewmate, or someone at home, what do you have as powerful verbs? Go for it. All right, today we're continuing our adventures in verbs. We're going to start just not using Chromebooks, and so some things you'll need. You'll need our verb sheet, and then Card Trip, the epic Upchuck story. So we're going to revisit that for some of the author's amazing techniques. He's going to be our mentor author, and then we're storytellers today, and that means that I have to tell some stories to you, which is mildly humiliating, but I'm going to do it, and so I'll model that. So make sure you have those items, and I'll meet you right back. We're going to start with just going 1 through 10, buzzing through these action versus linking real quick, and then we'll get into Card Trip. See you in a sec. Okay, we're over on exercise 3, the final exercise in this piece. And action versus linking. My goal in language arts is not to bore you with mind-numbing worksheets, but you will have to be able to determine the difference between action versus linking next year on your 8th grade grammar placement test, which you'll take to kind of determine and place you in what type of English class you'll need in high school. Are you going to go the honors route, regular English, a support class, whatever? So it's important to be able to tell action versus linking, but really my main goal is to how can you use awesome action verbs to serve you well in your writing. And that's the heart of today's lesson. So we'll just buzz through these real quick. The examples at the top, the bread smelled stale. So I just asked myself, is this bread actually smelling anything? Did it grow a big schnoz and it's sniffing around? Heck no, it did not. It just is being stale. So it's linking, and stale links back to the bread. And this one, Charles smelled the cake. Yeah, he's actually sniffing that thing. So that is an action verb. The Dutch bulbs grow tall. They just are tall. Tall links to the bulbs. But in this one, Donna's growing the tulips, something she's actually doing. I'm not going to put a tricky one like this on the quiz. It'll be a little bit more straightforward, a little bit easier. But here's our test. If you can substitute the boring verbs is, am, or are, it's going to be a linking verb. And to be a linking verb, something actually has to link. A noun or an adjective links back to your subject. For example, stale linking back to bread, whereas cake does not link to describe Charles. Cake, Charles, no. Stale to bread, yes. So linking verbs are just like big fat equal signs. Bread equals stale. All they're doing is just making a boring statement. Nobody's actually doing something. There's no action. So together right now, we're going to go through 1 through 5, okay? So number 1, suddenly a bright light appeared in the sky. So I ask myself, okay, what happened? What's the verb? And I think, okay, appeared, something appeared. The verb is appeared. What appeared? Your subject is whoever is who or what is appearing, the light. On the quiz, you won't be asked to find your subject, just identify the verb is all. Now, action or linking. Did the light actually physically appear there? Is that an action? Indeed, and it wouldn't, sky does not really necessarily link to light to describe it. So the first one is action. Let's check out number 2. The inspector sounded the alarm as a test. Verb, sounded. Inspector's doing the sounding. Now let's decide, is this action or linking? So like every little childhood dreams, grabbing that big fire alarm and pulling that, oh, the glory. Did the inspector actually grab the alarm and sound it? Is it an action? Indeed. You could not say the inspector is the alarm. Alarm doesn't link back to describe the inspector. So this one is action. Number 3, the room seemed smaller now. Could I say the room just, okay, so first of all, my verb is seemed. Could I say the room just is smaller? Okay, the room's not actually doing anything. Let's check. Does smaller link back to describe the room? Indeed it does. The room is smaller. 3 is linking. Number 4, my brother grows tomatoes and scallions. What's the verb? What's he doing? He's growing. Okay. Is that a physical act? Is he actually out there doing that? Is that something he's doing as an activity? I think so. And it would not make sense to say he is tomatoes, and tomatoes doesn't necessarily describe brother. So that one is action. 5. During the drought, the grass turned brown. Okay. Grass, what did it do? Verb, it turned. Now, turned can be a physical action, like you can get up and turn around, or it can just be something becoming a certain way. It just is brown. Which case do we have here? The grass is brown. Does brown link to describe the grass? Yeah, the grass isn't physically turning around, it just is brown. So if it links, and I can substitute that is, am, or are, that is linking. Okay? On your own, okay, so you can put a little line under number 10. That's your stop. Okay? And I want you to try this on your own. Underline the verb and then decide action or linking, and I'll meet you right back. Go for it. Okay, 6. The robin appears at our bird feeder often. What's that thing doing? It's appearing. That's my verb. Subject is the robin. Is it physically actually appearing there? I think so. And I couldn't say at our bird feeder, or bird feeder really links to the robin to describe it. And so it is an actual action taking place. 7. The chocolate fudge tastes too sweet. Verb, what's it doing? Okay, taste. Is the fudge actually tasting anything as an action, the way the robin was actually appearing at the feeder? I don't think so. It just is sweet. It's simply a statement about the fudge. Let's do our test. Does sweet link to describe the fudge? Fudge, sweet? Indeed. Linking. Number 8, she stayed in Texas for 2 weeks. What'd she do? Stayed is our verb. And so stayed can be a linking or action. So it's action if she physically stayed there as an action. Did she bodily physically stay in Texas? Indeed. Texas does not link back to describe she. Texas, she, that doesn't make sense. So that one is action. But if you said, like my pants stayed dry at school today, I didn't tinkle potty, like they just are dry. Dry links back to your pants. Pants stayed dry. But this one, she's physically staying there. 2 years later, my uncle became a judge. All right, action or verb here. What did he do? He became. Is it more of a statement about him, or is in the sentence he's actually taking action? That was a little tricky, so let's do our test. Can I substitute is, am, or was? My uncle is a judge. I can. So I pass the first linking verb test. Does judge link to uncle? Uncle judge? Indeed. Linking. And finally, the garage now looks clean. That will never happen to my garage. Too many Barbie scooters and giant beach balls, but whatever. The garage looks clean. Verb, looks. Okay, is the garage looking at anything as an action? I don't think so. Test. It is clean. Indeed. Next test. Clean links to the garage? Yes. Linking. All right. All right, enough of these bad girls. We will catch you back with the rest. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at car trip. So put this off to the side. Don't worry, we're not going to read 5-minute princess stories. But car trip from yesterday, so many amazing techniques from John Skiska. I love his writing. We're going to model his lead today. We're gonna shoplift that lead because that is awesome, and we're going to emulate that, which means we're going to use it as our mentor text, and we're going to craft a lead that is very similar. Of all the Skiska brother memories, I believe it was a family car trip that gave us our finest moment of brotherhood. So why is that powerful? Right away, out of the gates, it's a bold statement. I want to know, of all the stuff that went down in your family, what was it about this car trip that was so momentous and so cool and just is kind of burned in your brain? I like that. So I think coming out of the gates with a powerful lead that makes your readers curious, like, what went down in that family station wagon, right? So there they are, driving, making the good pilgrimage from Michigan to Florida. Who's done that route? Who's driven that? We sure have. It's long, but it's got to be done, right? You got to get to warmer climate. I love the simile here. We ate lunch. We ran around like maniacs in the warm sun, and we packed back into the station wagon, right? So like maniacs, awesome simile. And of course, The cat finding that Stucky's pecan log roll, which I imagine Stucky's probably kind of like a payday if you've ever had that, sticky, caramely, nutty, gooey. And cats are so wonderfully dramatic when they have like a hairball or something. They're just like and then like their stomach starts heaving. It's pretty fascinating. But the awful ack sound of the cat getting ready to barf. I love how the writer uses onomatopoeia. So we have two types of figurative language right out of the gates here in this second paragraph. What else did we notice from our writer in this very, very short piece? But awesome action verbs. And maybe you have a personal favorite verb for puking. He's got one of the kids, he blows his own sticky lunch all over the cat, so now you got a puke-covered cat. That's fantastic. The cat jumps on Brian. Brian barfs on Greg. Greg upchucks on Tom. And then Tom burps a bit of stucky lunch back on Greg. Jim and I rolled down the windows and hung out as far as we could, yelling in group puke horror. I love it. I love upchuck and burping and barfing and hanging out. I mean, vomiting. I don't know. What's your personal favorite verb for puking? And then I just love this line right here. Jim, John, Tom, Greg, Brian, and Jeff, we spilled out of the puke wagon, fell into the grass, gagging, yelling, and laughing until we couldn't laugh anymore. I just love the triple verbs. They're gagging, they're yelling, they're laughing. You've had moments like that with your friends where you're just like laughing so hard, stuff's coming out of your nose, and you're trying to talk, but you can't. I just love how he captures that. And then our closing. What a fantastic technique. Repetition. So what's it all mean? What essential guy wisdom did I learn from this? Stick with your brothers. Stick up for your brothers. And if you ever drop a pecan nut log in the car with your 5 brothers and the cat, ellipsis, it will probably stick to your brothers. So it has a nice, tidy little ending where he closes this puke horror story off with a little bit of wisdom. It's got a so what, right? It's a great memory. It's a memory of brotherhood. Boom. So that is our next task. We are going to be storytellers, and we're going to use amazing action verbs like our writer did, perhaps some figurative language, maybe some repetition, but definitely a lead like this. Of all the memories, I believe it was boom that gave me my finest moment of what, okay? And I'll do a lot of modeling and storytelling. So at this time, you're going to fire up your Chromebook, and I will meet you in Google Classroom, in your English Google Classroom, and I'll show you what to find in just a second. Thanks much.